Check your gear and weapons. We'll be deploying shortly. All stations, we are green to go. Stand by for deployment. Enemy soldier incoming.
Solo start attack.
Battle Royale. Keep clear of the gap. Get to the safe zone. Hunt down the enemy.
Oh, whoa, what?
Enemy dropping into the AO. Gas is moving.
incoming.
Fuck off, David, you smelly weak cunt. So this is shite. That fucking game's shite. Let's try this.
Bullshit ain't on the schedule, no. But if you expect people to actually do their job, bullshit will be on the schedule. Oh yes. So prevent bullshit. Yeah. Expect bullshit.
Bullshit.
Detour from the bullshit. So you don't have to. That's why I leave late at night. Everybody's sleeping, everything's alright. Leave on time so I don't be late. Car registered, tags up to date. Brand new engine, good endurance. Seatbelt fastened with proof of insurance. You know, cell phone charger, jack and a spare. Cause if you get stranded, Jack don't care. Drive the speed limit, right hand lane. If you in a hurry, pass me, man. No, you go first. Might I say, even if I got the right away. I'm trying to get where I wanna be. You can't hit me in front of me. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. Gee whiz, there it is.
Prep time's over. Now you deploy to the war zone.
Somebody pulled out a 38.
Moving here.
Alright, soldier. Mark a drop point for your squad and go get after it.
Got it. Give me that.
Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Loot cache here.
Supply box is located. Move to
cache
secure. An enemy squad is hunting you. Stay sharp. Targets are up. Go take them down. Supply box secured. Move to the next one.
Left a good out token right now.
closing in.
What the fuck?
Eyes on enemy. Waypoint marked. Move. Incoming fire.
Two supply boxes down, one to go.
Enemy spotted.
All supply boxes secure. Contract complete.
Get us the UAV on station above.
Counter UAV above. Use it gun.
Hostile shooter.
Need some cash.
Eyes on enemy.
The enemy is no longer tracking you. You lost them. Squad
Need
mates
some
have entered
cash.
the gulag. They'll need to survive to redeploy.
Field upgrade here. Field upgrade here. Field upgrade here. Need some cash.
Your squad mate won the fight. They're redeploying now. You have a buy station inbound.
I don't think
You've got a loadout drop inbound.
Spotted.
This is Focus. We are Bingo Q. RTB.
Friendly buy station is ready.
Enemy spotted.
UAV available for tasking.
Near on, requesting UAV. Setting waypoint. Head for indicated location.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Mission timeline expired.
Enemy spotted.
UAV exiting the AO.
Friendly loadout drops on the way.
Hostile front.
Gas is inbound. Marking new
Enemy
safe
spotted.
zone.
Cash here. Weapon over here. Got armor here.
Your squad's in the safe zone. Gas is inbound.
Cash here.
Requesting recon above.
Head for indicated location. Enemy spotted.
Enemy UAV is online.
I'm hit. I'll drive.
Eyes on enemy.
Setting waypoint.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Eat this. Portable radar running. I'm hit. Looking out.
Head to the safe zone. You've got gas moving in.
That's why the game's shite.
They're on me. Eyes on shock charge.
Your fight's over, soldier. Return to base.
Enemy shock charge.
Haken.
That's our field upgrade. Waypoint marked. Move.
Gas is closing in. Relocating safe zone. Contract's worth more than usual, so get it done, soldier.
Assault pack available.
Enemy UAV
Field
overhead.
upgrade here.
Hostile shooter.
All squad mates are in the safe zone. You're losing ground. Move it.
I'll drive. Head for indicated location. Yep. I'll come along. Got some loot here. Marking self-revive.
UAV standing by.
Eyes on enemy.
TACCOM, give me a UAV. I'll drive. Enemy grenade!
Priority tasking request received. We're done.
Portable radar running. Eyes on shock charge.
Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone. The gulag's locked down. Area's clear.
Not this time.
Loadout drop headed your way.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted.
The safe zone is a long way from your location. Move like you mean
Setting
it.
waypoint.
Your squad mate's located in HVT.
Waypoint marked. Move.
This one's high risk, high reward, so keep your
Head
eyes
for
open.
indicated location. Waypoint marked. Move. They're on me. Dynamite.
Gas inbound. Safe zone relocated. There's an increased payout for this job. Be sure to collect.
Smoke out!
Get to the safe.
They got me.
Gas is moving.
I got you, homie.
Setting waypoint.
Enemy buy station incoming. Ten remaining. Keep pushing. You're the last of your squad. Finish this.
Shouldn't have left me alive.
Only 4 left. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone. Less than 5 were still standing. Next time we'll take that victory.
Ah, well.
Defeat is only a mindset. Shake it off and keep pushing.
If you like Missy Elliott, get that out of here.
Hey, bullshit ain't on the schedule. Ain't on the schedule. Gee whiz. There it is. There it is. Gotta deal with. Oh, baby. Afro man coming real with. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. Gee whiz. There it is. Yeah. Man, homie wanna ride in my Cadillac. Just got my damn driver's license. Just got him back. Blunt in his hand, open can. You know we
Every
get
day I
pulled
gotta
over by the man.
successful.
I got shit, can't jeopardize shit. Fucking round with you. You can cuss me out, get mad as hell. Go in his car, and y'all go to jail. Windows rolled up, all photos locked. Let me in, bro. Went to a party on a Saturday night. Didn't get laid, got in a fight. Watered down liquor, high ass beat. Didn't play one song I wanted to hear. You know, tried to drive home, drunk and high. Didn't get no pussy, just a DUI. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. Oh, gee whiz. There it is. You gotta deal with it. Keep going. Afro man coming real true, baby. Bullshit ain't on the schedule. I don't see it nowhere on here. Gee whiz. There it is. I speak this with an anointment. Sorry, bullshit. I don't see your appointment. I ain't got that.
Is that Darcy on YouTube? Fucking safety. Game capture.
Welcome back to Good Morning Sports fans. Now, we brought you a little update earlier that Liverpool City Council Safety Advisory Board were having a meeting this morning. They then have deferred that until midday, so we're still awaiting that. But Liverpool have also posted on X. They said a safety meeting was held this morning to assess the weather and travel conditions for today's fixture against Manchester United at Anfield. At this stage, the match is planning to go ahead as normal, and every effort is being made to get the game on.
Yeah, and you can see, like, you know, the surrounding areas at Anfield and the ground itself. You can see why there are concerns at the moment. They also say Liverpool further safety meeting will take place again at midday to assess the latest conditions, and they will update supporters just as soon as they can. So we will let you know after midday, once they've had this second meeting. Fingers crossed they'll be able to get the game on, but there is a lot of snow there, as you can see.
commenting, this is ridiculous compared to my country. If Nottingham Forest qualify for the Champions League, I'll eat my shoe. How can I be just a one-hit wonder? I hit the ball and ponder.
In recent years. Here's more.
Come on.
Europa League games. The league for us is done. We're not doing anything in the league. We're not getting top four. The league is a waste of time. The Europa League is all we've got left. So when you play Liverpool away, you've got to put a good team out. So imagine if we have to play Liverpool away in April in between a really important Europa League game. We would have to put our best team out because it's Liverpool, and that could jeopardise the fitness of the team for the Europa League. So actually, loads of people are saying, oh, you know, it'll benefit us if the game gets called off. Why? The league is going to be nothing for us. When the replay happens, we'd have to pick our best team, and that might be at a time where we need to rest players for the Europa League. So I just think get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. There's nothing in the Premier League that's going to help us. So I'd say get it out of the way. Can Derek play a 5-yard pass as Jacob? I tell you what, he'd be good in the midfield. He really would. Okay, so that's the latest with the game. Amorim bins off 3 United stars. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about what, you know, it sort of came out last night to Spain. I think it will happen. I think Rashford, I mean, God knows. I think Rashford seems to be more interested in PR stories than actually getting a move out of the club. It's sort of like, you know, what's the next release? I'm training really well. No, you're not. You're at home sick. Okay, I'm wanted by every club in the MLS. Yeah, okay, you going? No, don't want to go. So I'm just a bit tired of all the back and forth power play with Rashford and Man United. Like, everybody knows you need to go. Go. Stop doing the... It's like their point score. You know what it is? It's like they're fighting over a girl or a boy or whatever. And whilst they're doing that, someone else just goes and gets married, and they're fighting over nothing. Just leave. Just leave. Like, we don't need any more PR stories. Oh, Saudi wants me. I'm training well. No, they don't, and he isn't. Just go. Just go. So I don't know with Rashford because I just don't know. It seems to be more about winning a PR battle than actually doing what's best for everybody. But there is still time. He's not part of the squad today. Casemiro, look, he won't start today. Casemiro won't start today. I mean, I'd be stunned if he starts today. So again, we're just stuck with a player that is on huge wages. So yeah, look, Amorim, I'm not really going to discuss Rashford that much because I think that story is a weird one. Nobody really knows what's going on. But Casemiro and Anthony have been told, get out of my club by Amorim, and it's about whether... Look, ultimately, what we're saying is that if the manager had the power to cull players, Rashford, Anthony and Casemiro wouldn't be here anymore. It's now over to Ineos. I bet you thought I was going to get Derek out again. It's now over to Ineos and what they're going to do, because they've been told, get these 3 players out. And much the same as Mourinho said, however many years ago, get these three players out, and we think it was Shaw, Martial, and maybe Rashford, maybe another. They didn't get rid of them. Ollie said, get rid of these players. They didn't get rid of them. Van Gaal said, get rid of these players. They didn't get rid of them. Ten Hag said, get rid of them. In 12 inches of 25 than it was in 9 and the Sunday Times. And they had their own teams working on news Monday to Saturday. And all they did is work on the Sunday paper, which was different from every other paper. So... just want to, you know, drop in there is that, yeah, I was definitely told this week, and I can't remember who it was, and they probably would go mad if I told them, so I'm going to say it's UTD Menace, but I don't think it is. Just give them a shout out. Yeah, they're looking to offload Luke Shaw in the summer. That effectively Man United have protected him a lot over the last 12 months, but...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we got a nice little update, man. To be honest, it wasn't nice at all. They didn't really do much. Yesterday we got the Squid Games update. It was about 10 gigs, and I know a lot of people actually came back to the game to actually try the Squid Games update. They could have did a lot more. I don't know. I have a lot to rant about Call of Duty. I'll put that in tomorrow's YouTube video. There's just a lot of things I want to say and get off my chest. But as you know, for the people who are still playing, ladies and gentlemen, I have your top 5 best class setups after the update, man. Especially for ranked play. Ranked play came out. I haven't done a top 5 for the best guns to use, especially in ranked. These are going to be some ranked class setups mixed with some pubs. And overall, I'll give you guys the best class setups to use in Black Ops 6 Warzone. Also, the gameplay you're going to see after this is going to be one of my best, most intense ranked games of all time. You guys got to see what happens, man. It's absolutely crazy. I'm currently ranked 74th in the world right now, so actually doing pretty good. Now, to start it off, man, the number 1 gun to use in the game right now, especially in ranked play, is going to be the XM4, man. This class setup right here is the absolute go-to. Every pro player is running this in ranked. It is crazy. When the game came out, everybody was on the GPR wave, and as soon as they figured out the XM4 with 100 rounds is OP, it automatically became all XM4 meta. Now, I know they're gonna probably try to nerf this gun in the future, but all I ask is that they don't nerf this gun to the ground. The only thing they need to nerf with the XM4 is the 100-round mag. It's too OP. The gun itself, don't touch, don't destroy it. Please don't destroy the XM4. So what I have is going to be the Willis 3 times, the compensator, and then for the barrels, a lot of people go back and forth on this, but I think the Gain Twist barrel is the best barrel to use for the XM4, especially on rank play. And it's just, I like bullet velocity on guns as well. Vertical foregrip, the extended mag 3, and then we got the quick draw grip, buffer weight stock, and the recoil springs. I think this attachment here, the buffer weight stock, should be on every single gun. I truly don't understand why they don't have it on every gun. I'm confused. I don't know. That's what makes the XM4 so much like a laser and beats every other gun. This thing doesn't move. The next is going to be the Jackal class setup, man. This is the number 1 SMGs to use in ranked play. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, after they fixed the blueprints for the VMP, this iron sight right here is my favorite. And a lot of people have been asking me what I use to actually get this iron sight. I love it. It makes me feel like I can win literally every single gunfight, man. It feels so good. It's one of my favorite SMGs of all time I've ever used in Warzone. I troll a lot, but I'm not even trolling, man. Also, within the patch notes, before I show you guys this class setup, they actually did do a couple things in the update. They buffed the mantling speed and just a couple of the movement speeds as well too. So let me know what you guys think, if you guys can feel as far as like the mantle speeds any different. I don't think it will be, but so this is gonna be my 5 attachment Jackal class setup, man, with the VMP Elite barrel. If you want to know how to get the VMP Elite, you have to be Prestige 8 level 50. So right here we got the reinforced barrel, the Ranger foregrip, extended mag 2, ergonomic grip, and infiltrator stock. It's honestly my favorite SMG class setup that I use so far, and probably the best.
Yeah, Melder. Well, lucky for us, we didn't get any snow.
Ruben, once again, you've come in to face us in the media. You still have this wonderful smile on your face, but behind that smile, how difficult is it at this moment for you?
I think it's hard on everybody here in the club, and we know we have to face the reality. It's a difficult moment, but you can do it. We continue to do our job. Is to focus on the team, try to improve the performance. We know that it will take a long way to fix things, and we also know that it's really hard on the fans. They expect so much better.
You said when you came here that you anticipated the pressure of managing a club that has a global prominence. Has that pressure been more than you anticipated, given what you've had to deal with?
No, I think the hardest part is to lose games. I'm not used to do that. You don't reach Manchester United by losing a lot, and that is the hardest part. It's not the pressure from outside; it's the pressure inside. You get. I don't have a lot of patience. I get frustrated easily, and that is the hardest part because I have to live with myself, not with the others. I protect myself for the others' opinions, like you know, from social media, newspapers. I don't see TV because I understand the moment, but I think the hardest part is the pressure that I put in myself because we are losing too many games.
Clearly what you're saying there, that it hurts that you're losing those games. Everybody's got an opinion on why you're losing a game, but ultimately the only person's opinion that matters is you. At this moment in time, why do you think you're losing more than you're able to win?
I think we changed a lot of things during the season with not a long time to train, and that is hard, not just for the players, but also for me. And I think that is the main problem, because they are trying to cope with every information and they had a lack of confidence in this moment. So everything connected, and also we are suffering some goals in the difficult moments, in the beginning of the games, in the beginning of the second half, and then it's really hard to cope with that and to turn things around. So I think is a lot of things at the same moment, and we are not winning games.
I've heard you talk that one of the things that you want to work on in this time that you've got to train with the players is basics. Now, to a lot of people, a lot think, well, Manchester United players must be able to do the basics. But is this the basics in your system, and the new philosophy? Is that what it is? And can you explain those basics?
It's like the positioning for them to understand each other, the connection between them. Then, for example, we give a lot of rules when we are defending the line, the second line. All these things, sometimes they are so focused on the rules that they forget the common sense. Sometimes there is a situation that they have to adapt because they are top players and they are thinking a lot of things. And then everybody in football knows that when you are in this situation, sometimes it's really hard to play football, to keep the ball until the last moment, to be brave, to stay in the heart.
Paddy Power is reminding you to back your team to the end.
Merry Christmas, son. Enjoy the gift of a football team for life.
A shirt's not just for Christmas, it's for life. Paddy Power.
Position to receive the ball, they try different things to receive the ball in the good position for them, not for the team. These kind of things, if you play football, you understand. Like I said, like you said, is the basics of our way of playing football, and we need time to train.
You mentioned a very important word there, bravery. To play for big clubs, whether it's Manchester United, Real Madrid, whoever, you need to be brave. Do you sense at the moment that some of your players are lacking that belief in themselves to believe and to be brave and play the Manchester United Ruben Amorim style?
Yeah, I think I should say a different thing, but I think you can notice that, and that can happen to any player in football. And then this situation is really special in a bad way, because you still are a Manchester United player. So you play for Manchester United, but you are in this position on the table. It's so much harder to cope with this pressure for me than fighting for titles. So we had some problems during the games to keep the ball, to be brave, to be creative also, because you have to enjoy to play the game, and we are struggling in that things.
You're clearly standing up. Every time I see you in the media, you never duck a question. Do you need your players to be leaders, not just the captain, but as individuals?
I think that is really important, not just in our team, but you can see the best teams in England and in Europe. You see a lot of leaders, a lot of guys. When you have problems, they can cope with that and to help the team in different moments. So we need that. We need to have this kind of players in order to win matches, to win titles, and especially to turn things around in this kind of moments.
Do you believe that you have those leaders within the camp? I mean, you look at the names on the list. You look at Casemiro, you look at Eriksen, you look at all of those people, Harry Maguire.
Yeah, we have the men, and you know, with your experience, that the context sometimes is everything. You put these players in the different contexts, you have like real leaders, and you can see it. Casemiro was a leader in Real Madrid, also with a lot of pressure. But this is a different moment for them, and it's really hard to turn things around. But we are going to do that. So we have leaders, but they have to find themselves to enjoy more and to help each other, because we need all together to fix this.
I know one of the big things that matters to you most of all in life is being a father, and your family have arrived over, and we've discussed this before. Are you having to be a parent to these group of players, like you manage your own family? Is it building those foundations like a good family?
I want to be like a parent for my players, because is the way I want to coach. I want to be really close to them, be really demanding, but also be really close, because I was a player. I can understand everything they feel in the game, especially in this moment. So that part is easy for me, because I like to connect with my players. It's hard to connect with the guys that don't want that connection. For me, it's harder to coach this kind of players. But if you want, I will help you, and I will have a connection with you. So it's my kind of coaching.
I know you're getting asked this every week in and week out, but Marcus Rashford, you brought him back on the bench. You elected not to put him on the other night, which perhaps you can give us an insight into. But do you believe he has a future to be a Manchester United player? Has he within him to be what you want him to be?
Like I said, I already spoke a lot about Marcus, but depends more from him than from me. So he has to want it really, really bad. He's here, he's in our squad, so he's our team, our player, and is ready to play if I decide.
Were you tempted the other night at 2-0 down to put him on? You resisted the opportunity?
No, I just in that moment I was really focused on trying to turn things around, to score one goal to open the game, and I choose, for example, Garna to do that job. I was not focused on this idea that I will put Marcus or not, because he was away for 4 games. It was not that. If he's there, he's ready to play, but I chose Garnacho.
One of the other things you said when you came in here, you knew you were going to get criticism. Every Manchester United, every Premier League manager gets criticism. So I want to give you an opportunity to answer some of the criticisms that have been placed at you. Can we start with this 3 at the back? The media focus so strongly, and I can tell you're thinking, why? Yeah. What is your view of why people think it's wrong? And are they wrong rather than you being wrong?
No, because I see the game in a different way. I don't see 5 defenders. I see sometimes 3. I see sometimes 4. But we need time to train things. And if you analyze all the coaches from big teams, they had always the same system. So, but was with 4 defenders most of the time. So it's more normal. I have my way of seeing football, my way of working, and I believe a lot on this. But we need time to train. Sometimes we need the right profile. I cannot change in this moment. And a lot of people, for sure, I don't know, but I can assume from all the questions that are saying that I have to adapt. I know that how I want to play. I'm not going to stop because I'm in a difficult moment. If I do that, I was a player. The player will feel that this guy doesn't have certain what he's want to do. So I prefer to keep my mind. If someone explain me that it's better to change, and I understand, I will change. I'm not stubborn. I believe in one thing, and when I believe in one thing, I'm really focused on that.
People have questioned the midfield pairing of Casemiro and Eriksen. Is that an unfair criticism of those players at this moment, or is that something that you maybe learnt against Newcastle the other night can be difficult?
No, but I can understand the criticism, and I can understand the, if you compare the pace from the midfielders from Newcastle and our pace, I understand that. And we try to cope and try to put our players in position that can like hide a little bit that difference of pace, but I understand that after the game is really easy to evaluate the players. So I think all this criticism around the team and around me, I think is fair. So I can live with that. When it's fair, I can live with that and I can understand.
I think it's important that we look forward as much as we look back. The next game is Liverpool, and it's not just any game for Manchester United fans. I'm sure you're aware of the recent record. It hasn't been great for Manchester United. Is there something that you can do at this moment that you can change people's opinion of what's happening here at Anfield on Sunday? Have you got something in your mind that you can go and make people sit up and go, oh, wow?
I'm not worried about that. I'm just worrying about, we had two trainings all together. I'm focused more to improve the last performance. We cannot change that game. We can prepare the other. We are going to prepare the other, but you can look at the team and we lack some basic things. So my focus was more on work on these basic things. And then tomorrow, again, we will try to really focus on the opponent, understanding the moment of that team is so different than ours. That's it.
Is it fair to say you must have a better start at Anfield, whatever happens?
I think that is clear, because you can feel it every time we have, especially the last games at home. You don't have time to calm down the game, to control the game, to try to understand the game, and then to win the game. We're always in the difficult moment suffering a goal, and then it's so hard to turn things around. If you are going to play against this team of Liverpool, we have to start better. We have to have possession. We have to try to understand the game, and then to really play face to face against a very good team.
Two final things I want to ask you. I asked you the other night a question I didn't expect you to answer as honestly as you did. I mentioned relegation, and you said yes, everyone has to be aware of it. Can you put it into context, though, as to what you actually mean with that?
I think it's important in this moment to be really clear with the fans, and especially with the players. So if you look at the table, we are closer to the relegation than the first place. I'm not looking at the table at the moment, so that is a possibility. But of course, I'm not thinking about that. I just want to win the next game. But I think it's really important to be really clear with the supporters and with the fans and with the players. I think is the best thing to do in this moment.
Very finally, as you're sat here now, it's not the best moment. You've said that. But the future lays ahead. We have 2 transfer windows coming up, January, we've got summer, we've got you working with the players on the basics, time to work with players. What does the future honestly look like for you if you're given the time that you've spoken about that you say you need?
We know that the results will dictate everything. But the only thing I can say is that I have a clear path. Even with these results, I have a clear path what to do. So when you talk about changing the system and everything is so far in my head to do that, because I have an idea and because we had a lot of games without training. I don't knew the players. Of course, it's a different system. We have to find the right profiles for this system. So we have a lot to do, but we need to win games to have that time. So I'm really optimistic about the future. It's hard to be optimistic in this moment, but when you have a clear idea, you have something to look for, and that gives me the confidence that we are going to succeed. But like I said in the first day, it's going to take a lot of time.
The good news is smile still there.
It will always be, I think. Not after match is really hard to smile, but when you have an idea and it's so clear, you are always looking for it for the next day.
Ruben, thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For fans, it's more than a game, so we are doing more for fans. Sky Bet, for the fans.
So Ruben, welcome to Manchester. You enjoying the city?
Yeah, it's quite lovely, sunny for 4 days. It's really cold, but without wind, without rain, you can work very well, and people are very nice, very polite, and that's different in some parts in Portugal, but I'm enjoying a lot.
And what have you made of the club? Obviously, you've been to the stadium before, but you've been to the training ground now. What's your first impressions?
The first impression is that it's so big, with a lot of departments. I came from a small country, of course, a big club in the small country. Here is a different world. You have a lot to do. You are not just a coach. You have to be something more. So it's a little bit different, but I think I'm prepared for that. And this Manchester United. It doesn't matter the last years. You feel the weight of the history, and you want to be part of that. You know, you feel that if you win here, it will be different than in every club in England. You can feel that, but you also understand that the responsibility is big and it is going to be tough. We will have really hard moments, but in the end, I truly believe that we are going to succeed.
Does that confidence come from just your belief in how you've been successful at Sporting in the last few years?
Not just that, because I follow the sport, not just the games, but what happened with the other coaches. So I know that you can win, and you have Eric. Eric was amazing in Ajax. For me, he built the best 2 teams outside the 5 strongest leagues. So it's not just that, but I have one idea. So I know what to do. When I know what to do, it could go wrong, I know, but I'm comfortable because I know that step 1, step 2, step 3. And with that, I have confidence that we are going to achieve something.
You've talked about that in your interview you did when you first come last week, this one idea. What is this one idea?
One idea is like to be practical because it is too abstract. One idea is that when the ball is in one place and we are with the ball or without the ball, every player has the same idea. Imagine that one guy receives the ball between the lines and he turns. Every guy in the team knows what to do, and everybody thinks the same. So it's quite simple like that. You can call it like hard work, be professional, all that stuff. But in my mind, one idea, one identity is everybody have the same idea when the ball is here, there, or there. So that's quite simple. In this one idea is to understand the game in the same way, see the game in the same way, do the things in one way.
You said before about you'd look back at the managers that have been previously. There've been some great managers here over the last 5 years. You just mentioned Erik ten Hag, but they've really struggled to increase their win percentage above mid-50s. What do you think you look at that's happened there and think, I need to change that, or what's gone wrong with their regimes when they've been at the club?
That is a hard question to answer, because if I know, everybody will know, because they have experience more than me. What I can speak about is that they contact me to be here because they saw something. So I will do my thing. I will not try to find out the right thing to do, or try to find out what is missing with Eric, with Mourinho, with Van Gaal. I will not try that, because I think it's a waste of time. They reach me because they saw something, and I do something in a clear way. When you watch a team from, for example, Sporting.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the weather, should have brought a coat, mate. The big signing, shocking. He's not much better either. The good news is our ACCA gives you insurance, free bets and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
You'll know what you will get. So I will continue to do that. And that is my main focus. I really don't know what they miss here, but I think I know I will do my thing, my way, and try to find out what is missing in my way of seeing football.
You obviously, I think you'll know that coming in mid-season is more challenging than coming in pre-season. You've got a very distinct system. How will you be able to implement that idea mid-season when the games are coming thick and fast? Is that the biggest challenge for you at this moment?
Of course, you don't have time to train. Is a new system, but you imagine that you have a line of 5 or a line of 4. The principles are the same. If you want to press with one and do a second line, you can do a second line with 4 guys or 3 guys. So I think it's more than a system, is the principles that you have to teach, and for that we need also time. When I think the problems that we'll have is more in the way you do things, with the speed, with the intensity, than to learn how to play with 5 or 4 in the back. They are professional players. All the players are international. So I think it's more, for me, I'm more stressed about the way you do things than the way they have to do with 4 or 5 defenders. So that is quite simple for me.
I think this team over the last 5 or 6 years have played mainly quite deep and on the counter-attack. How do you change that so that you get the defence up the pitch another 20 metres, 15 metres, and you get the pressing a lot higher?
That is a good question. The first thing, I think we have to be better athletes. That is something that you can acknowledge when we are here and we see the data.
You mean fit? You mean fitter than they currently are?
Yeah. When I see fitter, is not thinner or nothing about that. It's the data. You have to understand that the data to press high, what is the average meters that you have to run without speed run, the sprint. You have all this data and you have to cope with that. So you already know your goal is to reach that. Of course, you play with the ball. Yeah. If you can run a lot, but if you don't understand the game, it doesn't matter. But in the first point, to press high, you have to be very fit, and you have to cope with the demands of pressing high. And I think one of the problems that we have, and I don't like to speak like that because I'm saying that I know the right way and the other way is the wrong way. Yeah. No, I'm just telling my way of seeing things, is that the problem is with the ball. I think we lose the ball too fast. We win the ball, we lose the ball. And you cannot press high all the time. So you have to keep the ball and understand that you have to be in the position to start one play. This is something that with the ball we can press better. So the focus this week also was in that part. If you don't lose the ball, you can push higher. If you are higher, you can press better. So it's like a snowball. Everything is connected, but if I know how to do it, I will do it in the snap of the fingers. So we need a lot of time, but during this time we have to win games and we have to manage. So important for me is that they have to understand the game. If you have to defend inside the goal of Onana, we'll defend inside the goal of Onana. If you have to press her in the opposite side, we'll do it. But we have to understand the game.
Yeah. What are your non-negotiables?
It's easy to see. You can say the pretty things like hard work, be professional. It should be. This is Manchester United in every club. But here, of course, this is you cannot run from that. Then is to think first in the team. So I know that some guys sometimes will play in the different position, but they have to understand the position and they have to fight for the team. Yeah. This is something that I can, as a former player, I know every trick. I can understand the players. I can understand what they are doing, why they are doing. If they are doing for the team, I will defend them until the end. I can lose my job before I put one player in front of the bus. as you can say like that. But if he doesn't put the team in first place, I will be the first one to talk with the player.
You mentioned professionalism. I have to ask you this because I've made a comment this week about Casemiro and Marcus Rashford travelling to America in their few days off. And it was just me thinking as a Manchester United player when I played here that you've got a few days off, the club are 13th in the league, the manager has just been sacked, it's a challenging part of the season and the new manager is about to come in, and that focus and preparation and not every single little detail is really important. And I said I don't think I would have chosen that trip to go to America with the time difference. I did get it wrong, I think they went to New York rather than Portland, so I apologise for that. But there's still a 5-6 hour time difference. They're on planes. Casemiro's 30 years of age. Are you comfortable with that?
The first thing, it was 5 days off. The second thing, they received the information of 5 days off, and they are big boys. They have kids, so they decide what to do. I think the main question here is us as a club have to set the standards and have to manage that. It's my decision. If they can have 5 days as a coach, or 3 days, or is 3 days to rest, you cannot fly. This is something that us as a club has to decide.
So you think you would have set a different structure maybe for that period?
For me, yes, for sure. But we cannot put this on the players. They told them they have 5 days off, so they can fly anywhere. Because nobody in the club says you cannot fly. So they have to live their lives because they are grown men and they have to decide these things. But us as a club has to change in these standards. You said that you as a player talk in a different way.
I wouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah,
I would have taken the 5 days off, but I would have probably done something different with that 5 days than getting on a plane to the US. You seem to be saying something similar.
For me, the big difference is your time. You had a great leadership at the time, very, very strong, and the culture was already here when you start.
Yeah.
So it's a long time with the same identity, the same way of seeing things, and you feel I'm just imagining, but even your teammates, if you do that, they will talk to you.
Yeah.
So now is a different point, and you have to acknowledge that. So this must be started in the club with us, me as a responsible in that area. So we cannot this time put that on Rash or Casa. They receive the information, 5 days off, do what you like. So we have to, as a club, set a better standards, and we will try to do that.
Is your problem with the actual 5 days off? Actually, you think it's too long?
It depends. It's very individual, and you have to see how many players stay. All of these things. Yeah. These players are playing or not. They were injured or not. I think 5 days for me it's too much, because after 3 days you lose something, so you have to see that. But sometimes you feel that it's better he loses something physically but wins something mentally. Yeah. So it's something individual.
Yeah.
But I want to say it again. It should not be the player's decision. It should be our decision as a club, and we are responsible to set that examples and standards, whatever you want to call it.
Take me back to the very first time you heard from someone at Manchester United and they said, we'd like to speak to you about being the manager. Who was that, and when, how did you feel when that happened?
I already had conversation with clubs, so it was quite normal. But what I felt at the time, I felt that this is my place, because of all of that things that you said about the moment of this club. I think it's perfect for me. I think I can feel it. If everything is going right here and we are winning, maybe it was not for me. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it better. But I think it was the right club in the right moment for me. It was very tough to leave Sporting. because in the middle of the season, you can say everything. It's Manchester United, it's everything, it's the moment, it's the club that I want, but you are leaving your guys in the middle of the season. Yeah. So it was really hard, but I had to do it, and I was like so happy. Of course, you can see it in every intervention that I have, but I also felt that is in the first moment a little bit overwhelming.
Don't let stoppage time goals ruin your bet. With Betfair's 90-minute guarantee, if your bet's winning at 90 minutes or full time, we pay out. Betfair. Play different.
But after 5 minutes, you start thinking about the club, the team, the players, how to play. So it was quite fun.
But it's true that, I mean, I'm talking now as a United fan, not someone who's interviewing you for Sky, but you look like you're beaming and you're sort of so happy to be here. I mean, it's an important thing, that, just to sort of the message to the fans, the body language, it's important.
Of course, and I know that in this moment our fans are with mixed feelings. Like, I want to be excited, but I have been here, so I have to be. I'm a little bit afraid. It's the same story all the time. I can be disappointed. So what can I say is that I'm really excited. I'm not afraid to show it, but I'm a clear idea that this will take time. Don't confuse my happiness with naivety. Say naivety. It's not the same thing. Yeah. I'm really happy. I know what to do, but I have idea that we are going to suffer a little bit before improving in the way that you should improve.
You've given us a lot of insight into how you're going to manage the players. In terms of, obviously, at Sporting, you with Hugo Viana, you had a great relationship. What do you expect from the people above you?
We can talk about, for example, Dave. Dave is known to create cultures. Of course, it's different sports, but he can prove that he can create cultures that win, and strong cultures. And we need that in the club. I think everybody, we don't need to hide that. We need to build that before to build something else. We need to build that in our staff, in our way to see things. Then you have Dan. Dan is well known here in England. He has the same position of Hugo Viana. Yeah. One of the things, to be practical in that, to explain, is that it's important when a coach or a manager, more a coach, says something, you have someone like Dan that says the same thing to the players. This connection is so important in the club, and then the player is going to talk with the agent, and the agent will talk with Dan, and he will hear the same thing. Yeah. This is so important because the players will feel that there is no place to run, or there is no place to hide. So we have to be on the same page. Then you have Jason, is the technical director. It's so important because for me, we need to improve Carrington with the youth teams. So we need to create a profile for the type of players that you want in the first team, and we have to improve. Yeah. We have good players, but we should be better for what I saw.
You mentioned game model in your interview the day, that you're going to introduce a game model. Does that mean, explain it to me, but also to everybody at the club. Does that mean that what you implement in the first team now will change throughout the actual academy and the youth teams and other sort of parts of the club? Obviously, the last few years they've been working a different way. Does that mean it changes now that you come in, you're looking for a direction to change through the whole club?
No, for me, there's nothing to do with that. You have to have the same principles, and you have to understand the profile of the players. If I need the number 6, when you go up in the scale of youth teams, you have to work a little bit more specifically the type of 6 that we use. But here, down, when they are growing up, they can play in different systems. I think it helped. Yeah. They have to understand the game. It's not understanding a system. They don't have to grow up playing in 3-4-3. They have to understand the game. You can play 4-3-3 because we will change the players. If you play with Dalot in one side, or you play with Diallo in the same position, it's the same position, different guy, different structure.
I'm interested in that. Will you play defensive fullbacks in wing-back positions, or will you play attacking wingers, or will you move between the two?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but you have to use both.
Yeah.
Because you have the different games. We should start with fullbacks because the structure has to. Yeah. Because to teach a winger how to defend is harder.
Impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't have too much.
No.
So if you are putting Dalot all the time, Mazraoui all the time, Malassi is returning, Shaw, he cannot do it at the moment. Yeah. So you have to adapt some players, and this is also the hard part to start in the middle of the season.
Yeah. Is it? I think the club will probably say that the limit with FFP, the financial sustainability. So it's unlikely that there's going to be a lot of changes in January. Is that a strength that actually for 8 months you're likely to be working with the same group of players, and actually you've not got a big transfer window in the summer? That's the positive, I suppose, is it, for you to be able to work with them?
The first thing, I'm not thinking about that. I'm really not thinking about that. I need to know the players. Yeah. Then we are addressing that with Jason and with Dan. We have to improve the recruitment, but improve recruitment is the process. So you have to have the data. We have to put the profiles on point. So they have to understand how I want to play and what I need for each position. So this is very clear, and we are trying to do that very, very fast. But this is the first moment. If we start without everything, the data, physical data that every position demands, the character of the player, if we don't have a clear process, we cannot start buying players. So our focus is to build that, and then when the windows open, we will see. Yeah. But I'm not thinking about that in the moment.
You're currently in 13th position, but actually only 4 points off top 4. Is that still the aim this season for you to take the club into the Champions League? Is that what you're looking at?
The first thing, I'm not thinking anything else than winning the next game. And people will say that I'm hiding the responsibility. You and the other guys will judge me for the position. I really don't care. I know that. That's why we are Manchester United. And people expect to be on top 4. That I know. It's not. I don't have any goal in the end of the season. I have one goal for this game and then to the other game. So I have so much to do. I will focus on every game. What can I say is that we have the responsibility not just to fight for every game, but to win every game. It's going to be hard. That is the goal. But I will not tell you that we have to be here in the end or there on top 4 or on top 6. I will be judged for that, but this is not my goal at the moment.
I think you said the other day that you wanted to meet with Sir Alex Ferguson and maybe, I think you mentioned Roy Keane as well, to have a dinner or with players that have played for the club before. He's actually on the television doing the game at Ipswich. Do you want me to pass on the invitation to Roy for dinner with him?
Roy Keane? Yeah. No, it was a player that I really liked. I know he's a little bit crazy.
He's a lot crazy.
Yeah. But he was a massive player. Yeah, and I like players with character. Yeah. I think they can improve. Not just what Roy Keane did on the pitch, the way he influenced the others. I think that is very important. In one player, you must have this kind of player in the big clubs, and I hope we'll have in the future players like Roy Keane. Sir Alex Ferguson, you want to ask so many things. I think he will talk about horses. He told me that. I don't understand nothing about horses, but it will be amazing to meet that kind of character.
Ruben, it's been brilliant speaking to you, and Manchester United fans absolutely love their managers. They always support them, and all the very best to you. Hope you do a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For fans, it's more than a game, so we are doing more for fans. Sky Bet, for the fans.
This is Ask Amarin. We gave you guys at home the chance to ask this man here anything you wanted on the Sky Sports social media accounts. Ruben, I've done this with a lot of managers and players. I've never seen the amount of questions that got sent in for you. There were thousands sent in. I also know you've done about 500 interviews.
Yeah.
So I've tried to pick some questions that are a little bit different.
Let's go.
Okay, first one. Ruben, if you weren't working in football, what job would you have?
I don't have plan B. Never in my life. So
never.
I should. I want to be a footballer. I was a footballer, not a good one, and then coach, and I managed to do it. So no plan B.
I've seen you do a couple of bits of TV punditry though.
Yeah,
back in
it's
Portugal.
fun. It's fun.
It's not bad.
I'm getting experience here in England doing media, so I can change my job if I don't win games. Maybe I need it, but no plan B.
I saw you on your TV, Portugal. You're wearing like denim shorts.
Yeah, because of Bruno Fernandes.
Why?
He went to a tennis game. He wasn't allowed to use the shorts, and then in the next program we wear the shorts just to have fun.
I love it. Okay, next one. What will you miss the most about living in Portugal?
The sun.
The sun.
You could say the food, but I can cook. Emmanuel in our staff can cook.
Yeah.
And the food is fine here. But the sun is something that we need to live.
When you say you can cook, what sort of meals are we talking here, Ruben? You're not getting away with that easy.
No, the simple things, rice and simple stuff, healthy stuff, salads.
Yeah.
Baby soups.
Baby soup?
Yeah.
What is a baby soup?
Baby soup is like for the babies, for the kids.
Oh, for kids.
I get really good on that with my sons.
Good feedback from your sons about the baby soup. Have you found a good pastel de nata yet?
No, not yet. I'm trying to keep me fit. Yeah.
Okay, next one. Which one manager have you taken the most inspiration from in your career?
Jose Mourinho was not the guy that I learned the most, but inspiration. Jose Mourinho, you have to do it to say that if you are Portuguese, Jose Mourinho.
You have to say that. It's under contract. You have to say Jose Mourinho.
It's a rule in Portugal.
Yeah, and of course, you spent some time working with him here, doing an internship sort of thing. How was that, working under him?
That was special, not because of the trainings, but he allowed us to speak with him during lunches.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing in internship.
Yeah.
That talk between us that are learning with the coach, more than the trainings, because you can see a lot of things in YouTube.
Yeah.
But most important is to feel the small things, how to deal with the players, and he tell us everything.
Few trips to Juan Mata's tapas restaurant in town.
You know your stuff.
I know my stuff. I
went there one day to have dinner with him.
Okay,
I learned a lot.
Next one. What does Ruben do in his downtime to relax?
I'm always with my kids and my family. You don't have a lot of time, but I'm always with my kids because I think I have the best ideas. Just having fun with my kids.
Yeah, what you think when tactics?
And I can relax. I can be upset with everybody because we don't win one game. I'm upset with everything, even with the camera or with the with the lights. But with my kids, I can relax. So it's just with my kids, trying to do some gym because of the fitness and to keep my marriage. And that's it.
I love it. In the gym, bench pressing. Make sure you don't put any on. No pastel nata. No, all you do is gym. Next one. What is your favourite movie of all time?
Yeah, I don't know. I watched some series. You say series?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Braveheart, maybe. Because of the freedom and the spirit and the
I love that answer. Braveheart. What TV series have you been watching?
I like Peaky Blinders. I really
so
like
good.
Peaky Blinders. You have to like it, Peaky Blinders.
There's a film coming out soon. Peaky Blinders film.
Really?
Yeah.
If you don't like Peaky Blinders, I'm not your friend. I don't understand you.
This is a great one. What are your first impressions regarding the biggest difference between the Portuguese League and the Premier League?
Media. I want to say this to all of you. Media is the biggest difference. The environment, the healthy way that you see football, I think is a little bit different. And is a very strong league, so these three things.
I love you said media, because at least 50% of the questions from Man United fans said, can you please cancel the interview to give him some time to rest?
That's a good point.
So at least they've got your back, Ruben, Manchester United fans.
That is massive for me.
Has Ruben Amorim got a ticket to see Oasis?
I don't have, with media and games, I don't have time to shower. I just shower, eat,
Our hacker gives you insurance, free bets back, and big odds boosts. It's a gaffer of an hacker from Ladbrokes.
Manchester United and media. That's all.
No Oasis ticket.
No. You know why?
Yeah.
No Oasis.
We know why.
No.
Manchester City.
No.
What music do you listen to pre-match?
No, I don't use a lot of music. More Portuguese podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes, yeah.
What kind of podcast?
Just
True
a lot
crime?
of things. No. It's simple things in Portugal. You have to know your politics. I think it's a good thing for you to understand a little bit for your country.
Yeah, we're going to have to get you into true crime podcasts. Yeah,
It's about true.
Yeah, it's about crimes that have happened, unsolved murders and things like that, and
is
people are trying to figure it out.
fantasy. I don't like.
You never know. We're going to put you onto some. Next question. Do you prefer winning as a manager or a player?
Manager.
That was easy.
Yeah, manager, because your responsibility is bigger.
Yeah.
It's more fulfilling, you know?
Yeah.
It's different. When you are a player, you like to win, you like to play better. If you are the best on the pitch, you can be sad, but you feel like, I play well. I play well.
Was that you a few times?
Yeah. As a manager, it's really hard. You can play very well, but if you lose, it doesn't mean nothing.
You're a bad loser? Yeah, that sense you have to win.
Yeah, if you are here, you have to be a bad loser. To reach this level, you have to have in your past winning a lot of games, so you get used to, and then it's really hard to lose.
Do you have any match day superstitions?
Just in the beginning of the game, I have one thing with Carlos Fernandes, my assistant. I take 2 bottles of water, give him one, shake hands.
That's it, simple.
That's the only thing.
What is Ruben Amorim's New Year's resolution?
It's always, I will be more organized.
Every year?
Yeah, but I already know. It's just in my work, I'm really organized, and I have everything in a certain order at home, and the rest of my life, I'm really disorganized.
So does that happen every year?
Every year is the same.
And it always
go wrong, so I already know that next year I will be the same.
Is it difficult to come into a club and completely change the formation?
It's harder to change something more inside of the players, like the hungry and the way you behave in the day, in the training. I think this is harder. The formation is so simple, the direction is so simple, they can cope with that easily.
How would Ruben Amorim, the manager, manage Ruben Amorim, the player?
I think I think it's easy. Clear message and to be very honest.
Yeah.
You could like it as a player. You don't like sometimes the honesty of the manager, but then you get 2 steps and you go away for 2 minutes and you think that, at least he was honest. So I think he managed myself in that way.
And you would be happy as a player having yourself as a manager? You think, he's a good coach?
I don't know, because I cannot select me. Imagine I'm coaching Manchester United. Have no chance to play for Manchester United. So, but I think it will be easy.
What would you consider a good season for Manchester United this year?
My goal is to, in the end of the season, the supporters go to the stadium and they already know. They will play like this, they want to do this, they want to be dominant. They could do it or not, but the consistency, I think, is a key point, especially in the effort during the game.
Ruben, love that. Next time, I'll bring you a pasta de nata.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the weather. Should have brought a coat, mate.
Burger, please.
The food.
$17.50.
Or whatever that is. The big signing? Shocking. He's not much better either. And oh, here we go. The good news is, our hacker gives you insurance, free bets and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your hacker. It's a gaffer of an hacker from Ladbrokes.
you got more chance winning the lottery than making it as a professional footballer.
I think your responsibility is to guide them in the same direction as I went myself.
Things aren't just handed to you on a plate. I think you have to fight for them, and it's probably only the tough that survive, really.
Natural skills is not enough. The impact has to be straight away.
Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do.
If you have that belief, then that's the most important thing.
Keep it fun for as long as possible. If you love what you do, you'll be able to get through the tougher times.
If you're going to make it as a professional, pressure's coming, so we don't want the kids feeling it prematurely.
The top club, we don't have time and space to grow up the young. He plays if he's good enough.
Whether it's playing in the parks, competing in cages, or showcasing skills on the streets, for so many young boys, the dream is to become a professional footballer. But the reality is, 0.06% of them will ever achieve that dream. The stats, newly released after extensive research by Sky Sports, make difficult reading for all those aspiring youngsters. 1.65 million boys play our national sport, but of those, less than 1% of them make it into a club's academy system. From there, just 9% of those go on to make a single professional appearance. At the very top level, in the Premier League, the numbers are even smaller. Only 1.5% of academy players make it there. For those who do, it's a job like no other. For the vast numbers who don't, the reality can be hard to take. This is the home of football. For any young English academy player, the dream is to play here, at Wembley. We know that the journey to get there is incredibly difficult, but what's behind that journey? People know the statistics that so very few players go on to make it as a professional. But what's the truth behind those statistics? And how do young academy players make it to the very top? The starting point for this is to meet a man who wants to know more about academy football. He's spent more than 50 years in the professional game. He had 400 matches as a player and over 1,000 as a manager. It's fair to say he knows a thing or two about professional football.
This was my home for 16 years, Dolphin Street. Hasn't changed much. 8 of us lived in that house. You can't believe it, can you? Irrespective of your upbringing or you know, where you're from, you know, it's that spirit that hopefully you can galvanise into be determined enough to be successful. You can be a working class boy with ambitions. This is Newport Rec. I've spent a lot of my childhood here playing football. Just across the road was Pill YMCA, and I played for them when I was 8, 9 years of age all the way through. My father worked across the road at Whitehead Steelworks. You've got the docks over the far side and the steelworks there, so they were very close together. So Sunday afternoons, there'd be the dockers playing against the steelworkers. There'd be no bibs. The goals would be, you know, coats or whatever that was put down. And, you know, you play 10, 12 aside, 15 aside, 20 aside, as many players could join in as wanted. Spend hours here just playing. Brings back some great, great memories. We had nothing, but we had everything. I've lived the dream, leaving this area when I was 16. I sat on the train going to Bristol, and I'd promised myself I would do everything, every single day, to make sure I made a success of it. I had my ups and downs. I was always capable because of what I'd learned and been brought up with in this area. I had that strength of character to get back up on the horse and start riding it again.
First and foremost, what is it about academy football that is dominating your thoughts?
Well, since I started, Rob, about 1 million years ago, I think one of the great changes in English football has been youth development. From the time I started, where there was just nominal amounts of players being taken on by professional football clubs, there was only 5 people with an intake, and they guaranteed you a 2-year apprenticeship and 1 year as a pro. And now that employs thousands and thousands of people and also brings in thousands and thousands of kids. And I've ended up with a couple of my grandchildren involved in academy football as well. I wanted to have a really, really in-depth look, not just at the football, but also everything that surrounds it, and just find out how it works, the strengths, the weaknesses. So I've taken a lot out of football, and I'd love to give something back if possible.
You've been a manager for so many years, you've had to release players. How's that?
I found telling the kids at 16, 17, 18 years of age that they weren't good enough harder than telling other people, you know, that their time at the football club was up. It's traumatic, really, because you don't only just feel for them, you feel for their family as well. It's like apples falling off a tree. There's no safety net. You know, they hit the ground so hard, Rob, some of them never recover. It's a dream, Rob, and you can't take that dream from them. You know, there's a massive percentage of parents, when the kids go in, they actually think their kids are going to be players. So they've bought into the system. How many actually fail? And what do we do as a nation? What do we do as organisations to protect those kids who do fail? The sports industry now has a massive responsibility, not just to produce good sports people, but to produce good people.
We're not going to focus on female football in this series. That's still a very different world from male academies. But when it comes to the boys, this has to be a thorough investigation of all aspects of it, doesn't it? The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, Rob, is that we cover everything. We look at the clubs at the lower end of the scale, and we look at the clubs at the top end. And then we take a view of what happens off the pitch as well as on the pitch. We look at the families, we look at what care they're getting, how the system works, and how it prepares the kids through that system. Let's start the journey by speaking to the people who have reached the top and done it at the top level. There's not many in our game who know more about developing and managing young players than Sir Alex Ferguson. Teams built on the foundations of youth. 38 major honours in 39 years. So what is Sir Alex's secret? Were there certain people who mentored you, pushed you in the right direction?
But on the football side, definitely my father. There's no doubt about that. The family, my brother and I, every holiday, first thing, the ball.
Yeah.
Took the ball on holiday all the time, would pass the ball, control the right foot, pass with the left, control the left, all the time. We had a great boys brigade teacher, Johnny Borland, a fantastic man. The BB camps every year. He put a list up on the board about what you had to bring. First thing was football boots. Always football boots. Number one. Then it was cutlery, T-shirts and all. And all there. But first was about football boots. Circumstances I grew up in, I was a shipbuilding area in Glasgow, Govan. We were in a tenant with 9 families. But I think it's a human quality that some people are destined with their own determination and possibly with their own upbringing that have a certain path in life.
What principles did you take with you into coaching and management, the young players? Was there certain rules, principles that you set them at a very, very young age that you think helped them?
I think your responsibility is to guide them in the same direction as I went myself. And they should have a sacrifice too. They want to be a top footballer. It's a privilege in many ways because a lot of these players were very lucky to get opportunities that were presented to them by playing for a club at Aberdeen and later on Manchester United. Making them aware of that is a job you should really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Make sure that they feel that responsibility.
What about the relationship, your relationship individually with the younger players? How important is that?
What I did was at St Mirren was, what I really enjoyed was coaching young kids. We scouted all over Glasgow and Paisley. I paid great rewards.
Yeah.
We won the league with a young team. I think we had 5 players were picked in Scotland's under-21s. I enjoyed doing it, and I believed in it. And I had this strong belief that what I'd achieved at St Mirren was my path for everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, that was the most important thing for me. And at Aberdeen, increased the scouting department, had some terrific scouts, and we concentrated on youth. The United actual first team scored quite a few over 30. It took a while to get that part going. Once the ball was rolling at United, and the youth coach was terrific, Eric Harrison, really, really top coach. Eric had this consistency with him, that it was every day was the same. Prepare for the first team. He used to keep saying, you've got to remember you're going to be working for Alec Ferguson.
And when did you know, Alex, that you had such a good group?
City were getting all the best players at the time.
Were they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They'd won the Youth Cup. So we had to put a stop to that, you know what I mean? We increased the scouting, and we worked really hard at that. And particularly in Manchester, we got the Nevilles and the Scholes and the Butts, and David Beckham was the only one.
Yeah, it came from down south.
From down south, aye.
Yeah. When do you think you can see in a player that he's going to be a player?
Some are aware they've always liked Beckham, but Beckham never came in the reserve, the youth team until, she was nearly 18. When you get a gem like Giggs or Scholes, it's staring in the face. Ryan Giggs was because we had a steward, Harold Wood, came to me and says, there's a young boy who was training at City and he's a United fan. He said, you really need to hold him. We got him down to the ground right away. And they played in a practice match against Viv Anderson, and Viv was screaming, can I kick him? Can I tackle him? And I says, don't dare touch him, he's only 14. And Paul Scholes was an incredible young player. You get diamonds with that. The Neville's hard-working, always great sacrifice for the wee footballer. Nicky Buck, determined young lad, always going to make it. You have a responsibility too, to give them the right guidance, to be strong in them in terms of the path you're taking them through. Play for Man United, play in front of 75,000, play in the cup final, play for their country. These are all the stepping stones that you're guiding them for.
Pep Guardiola has dominated English football since his arrival, winning 6 out of 8 titles. I went to pick his brains on his own journey and how he sees football development in this country.
Starting in my little town, when I was born, like all, the child in the neighborhoods, like in that time was no traffic lights in my little town, no cars, and all the time in the street. And after Academy Barcelona came, arrived with 13 years old, so all my life was there. And everything the Academy of Barcelona gave me, absolutely everything. Aware for the game, aware from how you have to behave, in a group of people, respect the managers and the institution, and everything. The club is more important than you. Accept that you are not good enough, you don't have to play, the effort, accept the defeats. Many, many details the sport teach you was there.
How important, Pep, was mentors in your life?
Mentors, Johan Cruyff was basically, when I was a little bit more mature. In that 30, you had a boy, away from a home, live in a residence, and the manager was a father figure in that moment. And you are lucky to find, the right ones.
You've been to Germany, obviously, Spain, Barcelona, England, Man City. If you're looking at the players now that have come through the teams that you've managed, why are those players so good, Pep? Is it just natural? Is Phil Foden just natural?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Natural skills is not enough.
Is it more difficult now to bring young players through?
It depends on the quality they have. It's difficult. It's a good question. It's difficult because always had the feeling the young players that we loan or we sell or didn't get the minutes, like Cole Palmer, for example. Yeah. If I would have give them, but not just catch the cold and explode, like in terms like it's unbelievable, and he deserves all this success and this season in Chelsea. It's not happen. If I would have give them the minutes that maybe deserve it, surrounded for David Silva, Vincent Kompany, all the big players there, put it there. They will have played good, absolutely. I know that. But in the moments, in that level, you know that you have to win for all the titles. You don't have too much time to, okay, let's see.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the weather, should have brought a coat, mate. The big signing, shocking. He's not much better either. The good news is, our ACCA gives you insurance, free bets and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
See, has to be, Phil Foden arrive, you see something like the impact has to be
straight away.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that's brought the level up. It's competition, Pep.
Yeah, right. It's a jungle. I see now a national team from England. So imagine the time like a Lampard or Gerrard or Scholes and Ferdinand and Terry, Wayne Rooney, all these players, they were bad. And look now.
I know.
Phil and Saka and Hurricanes and all the players. And it will come. In 10 years' time, we'll see English national team and say, oh my God, what a player, this one. It's natural selection.
My next stop took me to Spain to see a manager who's won league titles in Europe's top 5 divisions. Not to mention 5 Champions Leagues. It takes a brave boss to play the kids at the very best clubs. But what drives Carlo Ancelotti's philosophy when it comes to picking young players?
I started playing football and to have a passion for football when I was really young, 7, 8 years old. And then slowly, I grew up, and when I first started to think about to be a professional is when at 15 I left my family and I went to Parma to play in the academy of Parma and to study in Parma. I lived for 4 years in Catholic college, really tough, really strong. Yeah. Who I am now is because was the experience that I had in that period. My father was my role model. I think the sport helped me and teach me a lot to respect the people, respect the rules, respect the authority, your manager. I learned a lot from a lot of managers. I had Lidon, Sacchi, Capello, different character, Eriksson, and also a lot of teammates.
And over what has been an unbelievable career, fantastic career in different countries, what is it like today to play young players? How much has it changed?
I think that the player compared to me, the player now, if I have to compare myself with the player that are 20 years old that come to Real Madrid, I think that they have much more responsibility.
And how do you deal with that, Carlo?
Don't push to them a lot of pressure, because they have already a lot of pressure. Fortunately, in Real Madrid, the lack of this club, that we have veterans player without ego. And so this is important for the young to grow up in a good way. I think that you have to be able to adapt to the changes of the generation, to the changes of the society. My generation is different from the generation of the players now. Yeah. And I have to adapt. I don't want that they adapt to me, because I work in England, in France, in Spain, in Italy. For the fact that I want to respect the people, you have to adapt, to know, to work on the different characteristics, the different culture also, different language.
Do you think we have a responsibility to not only produce elite players, but also good people?
This is the key point. If I am a parent, why they want the son to play football? Why? Which is the reason? To be a top player or to be a good man?
Yeah.
If the reason that they bring to the academy to play football is to be a top player, they are wrong. For me, it was a fantastic school of life, because sport teaches a lot. To be disciplined, to work hard, to try to go over your limits, to have a relationship with the other, to understand the others, to have respect of the opponent. There are an amount of things that you can learn.
How important, Cal?
Paddy Power is reminding you to back your team to the end.
Merry Christmas, son. Enjoy the gift of a football team for life.
A shirt's not just for Christmas, it's for life. Paddy Power.
Hello. And how strong have you got to be to play young players at the top clubs?
Because a top club, we don't have time and space to grow up the young.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean that the young cannot play. The young can play, and he plays if he's good enough. Yeah. It doesn't matter the age. It's also the opposite. It's not true that because you are young, you have to play.
Yeah.
I cannot give to you minutes here in the top club, because the goal of the club is not to grow up the young, it's to win games. 20 years ago, if you had talent, you could be at the top, but now it's not enough.
Back in England, I went to catch up with my former manager and someone I've faced plenty of times in the opposite dugout.
a man with decades of experience working with younger players.
I used to go train at Tottenham, 11 years of age. Spend my time in the same training ground as Dave Mackay, Danny Blanchflower, John White, all the great players, that double-winning team at Tottenham, Cliffy Jones. And you'd be around them every day, and then leaving school and deciding at the last minute, really, deciding to go to West Ham. Ron Greenwood, again, was a manager who had such an interest in the kids, in producing homegrown players at West Ham, because everybody came through the youth team. Everybody was homegrown. They didn't buy players. It was different. We all trained at the same training ground. Nowadays, they have academies, and so the kids don't see the first team. We were there every day. You're with the first team, you're around them, you done the kit, you cleaned the boots, but that was all part of your job for the first 2 years as an apprentice. So at 15, there's Bobby Moore, and there's all the great players at West Ham, and off you go. You run through the forest together, you all train together, you come back in the afternoon, you'd all work. You learn from the first team. You spent your time around. That's where you got your habits from. They knew you, they talked to you. So when you eventually got into the first team group, it wasn't no big shock to you.
So when you got involved in coaching and managing age, what was the biggest difference?
Well, everything was so different, Tony. What I tried to do, though, all my time at West Ham, I used to go every Saturday morning watch the youth team play when the first team was at home. Never miss a game. The parents are there. They see you there as a manager. They know you're interested. The kids know you're there. It gives them a lift. They know the manager's interested in them. They've got someone who's looking at them, and hopefully it's a path through for them. We end up with Rio, Frank, Joe Cole, Carrick, Defoe, Glenn Johnson all coming out together. Very, very, very few football managers now would go and watch the kids play.
Yeah,
it don't happen. It's like a short-term job. The first team have a few bad results, they lose their job. I ain't got time to worry about the kids. This is 3 or 4 years down the line. I'm not. And unfortunately, that's how it's gone.
As a family man, yourself and Sandra, what was the feelings around the two boys? Mark obviously didn't make it, and Jamie did make it. What advice would you give parents, H?
Let them get on with it, Tone. Don't be too busy. Go and watch them. My dad came every youth game, stood out the way, never shouted, never done... Ron Greenwood wouldn't let the parents shout at the kids anyway. You weren't allowed to. The parents want them to be a footballer, but sometimes you can put too much pressure on the kids. When they go into academies, it's up to us to produce more players, Tone, really, you know, with that talent they've got at that age.
I wanted the opinion of a top young manager, someone who'd experienced the system firsthand and now deals with it from the other side. Who better then than someone I gave a debut to at Portsmouth, age 16, and is now thriving in management himself.
January 2000. I can barely even remember it. And I hadn't been in the club long, had I? I was still only a first year, YT.
The only thing I can remember about it, remember Lindsay Parsons?
Yep.
Lynn said to me, listen, there's a little lad, O'Neill, play him. You were about 8 stone. Mandrich, he was a chairman. He walked round the dressing room and he sort of like tapped you on the head and he walked over to me. Why have we got 2 mascots today? I said, Milan, they're not mascots, they're players.
Yeah, I mean, the kit didn't help me. It was one size fits all then, wasn't it? You didn't get a choice.
Was there anybody specifically along the way that sort of like pushed you that way? Or was it just self-determination for you to stay in the game?
I had some great managers, and you learn from all of them. At Portsmouth, you, obviously Big Sam as well, he was unbelievably well organised. And then mentor-wise, I had some great ones. The league was more British then, probably, so I had some senior British players that had played a lot of games at Portsmouth. Steve Stone came in, Dave Unsworth, Tim Sherwood, Teddy Sheringham. Stoney, I remember Stoney coming up to me and grabbing me by the wet top and saying, if you don't tackle, he said, I'm going to tackle you. And I was like, no worries, I'll tackle, mate, I'll tackle. You don't see stuff like that in the game now. You don't, like, obviously there's a way to do things, but it helped me.
Do you still think it's important?
Paddy Power is reminding you to back your team to the end.
Merry Christmas, son. Enjoy the gift of a football team for life.
The shirt's not just for Christmas, it's for life. Paddy Power.
Players have got mentors.
100%, 100%. And I try to be that for a lot of that. It's difficult in this role because you want to try and keep a bit of a distance.
Yes.
And the lads also want to they don't want to be open with me all the time. They don't want to tell me when they're not feeling great because they think they might not play. But it's important, and I use the staff. The staff are great at it. Neil Cutler, Sean Derry, getting around the lads and trying to make sure they're okay. They do need people to speak to, people to check up on them, people to keep reminding them when they let themselves down. So really important that they have some support around them.
How have you seen the academy grow
through your period?
Oh, completely different. I'd love to have had a chance at being a young lad now. Obviously, the level's probably gone up, so you have to get to a higher level to make it.
Yeah.
But the support you're given, like I remember I was, you know me, I was tiny. Yeah. I was tiny and no one ever spoke to me about being tiny. And like they were like, oh, he's small, but he can run all day. But if I would have had it again now and I'd have had the sports science and the people around me who could have said to me, come on, we need to get more powerful. You don't want to be big, but you need to be explosive. You need to be able to get away from people. I would have loved to have had that sort of insight from people where I could have fully committed to trying to make myself better. I think the boys now get so much good stuff to help them maximise what they are. But I do think trying to create a player from an academy to be ready for the Premier League is an incredibly tough task. And I do think there's a responsibility within the game to prepare the lads for, one, how hard it's going to be. Because you think, as a young lad, you watch the Premier League on the telly and all the players have got nice cars and nice jewellery, and it's like, this is fantastic. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to take a few knocks, though, to get here, by the way. You're going to have to be really good. You're going to have to take a load of knocks, a load of criticism, a load of failures, and then, if you're really lucky, you're going to get a chance to do this. So there's so much pressure on them. I've got a little boy who's under 10s playing at Wimbledon at the moment. I just prepare him mentally for everything, for what it is and how hard it is. Parents think that getting signed at under 9 is the be-all and end-all. The pressure that is put on that 8-year-old for that season, do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, Palace are watching, or Millwall are watching. Come on, I'm like, oh my God, he's 8. And then once you get in, your hopes are so high to have them then smashed at the end of it after all that hard work is a real tough situation. So really good that people are putting some real thought and effort into trying to make it better for them.
Players that fall out of the academy system need something to fall back on.
Do you think we have a responsibility to not only produce elite players, but also good people?
This is the key point.
I've had a really in-depth look into academy football and how it works with certain clubs.
Can you all play in our first team? No, and we're really realistic with the boys. The success is reaching your full potential.
Coming up in this episode, I'll find out what the whole package looks like for the academy footballers.
First and foremost, they try to create a good young person.
At the time, I didn't realise how it can sort of help you, both on and off the pitch.
I'd been there since I was 5.5, so I'd came through the whole way. The staff who was always there, and I'm talking about the whole of the staff. I'm not just about the staff who were on the pitch, I'm talking about the kitchen staff, the medical stuff, the people who clean our kit and stuff. They mean everything, so I'm playing out now on the pitch, but I just hope that they've got a massive smile on their face because I'm doing it for them as well.
It's been a special rise for me and the club. I think there's lots of different ups and downs. As much as we all want to become professional footballers, I think it's hard. Not everyone can do it. First and foremost, they try to create a good young person. Definitely the club's been very good at that, whilst also making it enjoyable on the pitch as well.
Clubs are investing significant amounts of money themselves into academies, and it's growing every year. But there's big money to be made in return. With academy sales representing pure profit, and more teams struggling to meet profit and sustainability rules, selling homegrown players with very little experience has become a crucial business strategy. Just look at the increase in the last few seasons. And some clubs excel at it. Manchester City and Chelsea bringing in nearly £500 million combined in academy sales since 2016.
You are tree. Your roots strong, branches supple. You are tree. Whilst struggling to put your pants on properly, there's more to imagine when you listen. Discover mindfulness titles on Audible. Subscription required. See audible.co.uk for terms.
Given how much players are worth to the clubs, are they looking after them enough? We've seen the highs and we've seen the lows. So what else is the game doing to protect its young players, 91% of whom never play a professional game?
The jury took just 3¼ hours to return a unanimous verdict of guilty for both Moses Swabu and Delroy Facey on the single charge of a conspiracy to commit bribery. Swabu from Bermondsey, he used to be a Crystal Palace trainee, but plied his trade in the lower leagues. The prosecution said he's gone to a younger player and asked him if he would be prepared to rig a football match for money. That isn't just relaying messages as per Mr. Swabu's defence, it is akin to being the getaway driver in a robbery, he told the jury. Swabu was sentenced to 16 months in prison for match fixing. He now works with clubs and governing bodies like FIFA to try to protect young players who, when released or when they drop down the leagues, can fall prey to criminal gangs.
I'll say the reality from my experience, it's almost like death. I've seen the reaction or the chain reaction from it. Once you get released or you drop out the game, what am I going to do? As your money deteriorates and you're not making no football money, you start to realise, how am I going to pay for that car? It's the pressure of, OK, how am I going to make money? This is where the gang and what you know comes around, because everyone always keeps their ear to the streets.
So you're saying that young players, if they're released or if they're having a hard time of it in football, can be very vulnerable in those sorts of communities?
100%. It's like I've experienced friends that have passed away and, you know, fallen victim of street crime. So whether that's stabbings or shootings, but then again, it hurts, you cry, internally you bleed, but who do you really speak to? These are versions of what players or people from my community go through. It's very easy to fall into those traps, because what starts off as, can you go and give this to that person, I'm going to give you a couple of £100, could very much lead into that couple of hundreds of thousand. By the time you go back to your mum's house, she hasn't got food, or she's working a night shift, cleaning or doing something just to put means on the table. Then you feel almost guilty because your dad's not around. So as 15, 16, you have to become the man of your house.
From what we've seen, football's changed quite a bit from when you were having your career. What's your view? Are the authorities doing enough?
My question will be, if the club are turning around and saying there's aftercare, how far does that extend? The aftercare should really be an aftercare for life. If Moses Swabu goes to prison, somebody at the club may turn around and say, you know what, he's been part of our club and he was a good lad, let me go and visit him. I very much feel like I've been a sacrifice for something that I couldn't really control. It was bigger than me. But then what I need to do is take responsibility for my own actions, but then give people an insight as to why I made those decisions.
It's an extraordinary story you've had personally. How are you using that to try and help football now and help young footballers?
Not everybody really wants to speak about them because it's almost the elephant in the room. Why do we want to tell them too much when we just want them to play football? It's harder to have that discussion when he says, my mum's passed away. Yeah, my mum's taking drugs. Yeah, I've been shot at 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I stabbed someone. By the way, this is coming from players at Premier League clubs. So when I'm talking of some of the conversations I've had, you're never really going to know the depth of what's really going on.
What's your goal now? What's the thing that drives you?
For football in particular, it's making sure my own story and my experiences are easily transferable and transferable skills. So it's almost like, even though I'm talking in first person, I'm almost a case study in a unique way to football as a whole.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the weather. Should have brought a coat, mate.
Burger, please.
The food.
$17.50.
Or whatever that is. The big signing? Shocking. He's not much better either. And oh, here we go. The good news is, our ACCA gives you insurance, free bets and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
Swabu was a trainee at Crystal Palace more than 15 years ago. His former club is now a pioneer when it comes to providing aftercare for released academy players.
I think it was through conversations with myself and the chairman that we just didn't feel there was enough transition for athletes, not just in football but in sport. It was always an ambition of ours to fill that space. We call it a 3-year cycle. We sort of know the opening months they'll be in shock of getting released, then there'll be an angry period where they resent the football club for a period, or the people at the football club that made that decision. But then there's a period when they come to their acceptance of the situation and then may turn to us for some support.
So you're nearly 3 years into these changes now. What do those measures entail?
We've appointed a head of transitions that tries to stay in regular contact with the players that leave the club. For every player that leaves the club, some won't need it. Some will be fine, some will get, other clubs. They'll go into a family business, or they would have had their heart set on something else. But we're there for the 20 or 30% that need that little support of sense of direction. And it's up to us to highlight those to them and help steer them almost like a careers officer into things they can do.
Was football letting these young players down by not having anything in place on the other side, do you think?
I think so. You know, if we've done anything, we've just created awareness in the subject, and hopefully some of these players will benefit from the clubs helping them.
You must be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, really proud. I think that the summer when we was aware that others had took it on, I remember texting the chairman that summer, and it was as if we had a sense of achievement that hopefully we've changed and going to change a lot of young players' lives.
Palace led the way, and others have followed. Premier League clubs are now required to have a full-time player care member of staff, responsible for providing aftercare. A 3-year commitment of support for players released aged 17 to 21 is also mandatory. In the EFL, the responsibility for player care comes under the jurisdiction of League Football Education, or LFE for short. They have around 40 members of staff and are based at offices here in Preston.
This is Anthony calling from LFE. Are you free at the moment just for a quick phone call then? I know we've obviously spoke during your time as an apprentice. It's a good chance for us to check in on you, see how you're doing, and also see what you're up to.
LFE's tracking and monitoring programme's been in action for 15 years now. We're really passionate about softening that landing once people have completed the programme. So we've got a team of people, have got empathy, they've been through the system themselves, to reach out once a year for 3 years to everybody, irrespective of your contract decision. Where are you? What have you committed to footballing-wise? Are you furthering your education? Have you stepped into employment, and what is it? But perhaps the most important part of this process is being able to redirect people to something that might be more inspiring and help them feel more fulfilled. We realise that football can be a passport for young players, and sometimes they just don't realise it, or don't have the knowledge or understand the pathways to get out overseas. We've sent nearly 300 players out to Sweden over the last 10 years. We've worked in Spain, and we've got 30 players going out to the US and Australia later this year. We have 250 released apprentices and first-year pros play in a series of showcase games across the country every year. We've got an array of scouts there from professional clubs, semi-professional clubs in this country and overseas, UK and USA universities, both with elite football programmes attached to them, so there's some genuine opportunities. And the relationship with the Premier League has gone from strength to strength. We're working on different projects, different events, transition camps.
Yes, good up. Don't take it before the green cone.
So we're at the PDP preparation camp, and this is a transition support programme to support players that are leaving the clubs in the summer. A lot of our players are moving on to new destinations, and this programme really sets them up for the new seasons.
My name's Stephen Besant. I'm 19 years old. Previous club was Newcastle United. In my second year, I was out for about 7 months with bursitis and a torn meniscus. Just because you've been released from a club doesn't mean you're a bad player. So much of it is circumstantial.
My name's Malik Lawal Olumegbourne. I'm 18. They were also saying that I was in their plans for the next season. I appreciate the honesty, no hard feelings, and move on to the next.
Yeah. Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the weather, should have brought a coat, mate. The big signing, shocking. He's not much better either. The good news is our ACCA gives you insurance, free bets and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
Oh yeah, call out. Why did you want to come in this room?
We have well-being elements to this programme. We ensure that the boys are really taken care of in that part, and not to be thinking maybe the club they've been at was the one flight path to success. We take the opportunity to sort of raise awareness of the many different pathways that are available to them, and that's in football. We have a showcase game later in the week where we invite lots of clubs to come and see the players as well who might have been missed. We've got scholarships available to university. We're fortunate at the Premier League to have partners such as Nike, Barclays, Electronic Arts, to give them exposure to those industry pathways as well.
Being a footballer doesn't define you as a person. Even just having been at an academy, especially and doing a scholarship there, sets me up really well to go into any future employment or education.
We've had a lot of talks really just opening our eyes to opportunities we weren't even aware about. So it's not really the most secure career from obviously a general standpoint. So you always have to have options.
In the past, maybe it had not been at the forefront. You think you've equipped the players well and they will move on to the next generation. We're much more conscious now as a game. We've got staff in clubs who are specifically working on supporting transition after release or if a player's out of contract. It's really much more at the forefront of our aftercare, our player care. But that's part of being a professional footballer. I was a professional footballer. I was released numerous times in my career. It is going to be something that may happen down the line, but We make sure that the provision in the clubs is there for them. We're mindful that we've got a part to play ensuring that we're supporting the next steps as well.
The end of a playing career doesn't always mean the end of a journey in football. Tom Reynolds took a completely different route.
I joined Charlton Athletic at the age of 9 and then stayed there for 3 seasons and left around 12. And then the next year I joined West Ham, played just for 1 season and then got released. It wasn't a tough release, it was just basically you're not good enough, and that was fine. I'd played football for 10 years. I wanted to use that knowledge and go into something, and everyone that weren't making it as footballers were going into coaching and going into managers or physiotherapists, and for me it was a case that I was like, there must be something else.
From Reading and Charlton to working in analytics, then on to Russia with Lokomotiv Moscow and Germany with Eintracht Frankfurt. Tom has spent over a decade behind the scenes in football.
At the time, I'd never heard of performance analysis. It was only until I went to university that I knew that was an avenue. Performance analysis can lead to 5, 6, 7 different roles now.
Do you ever now miss playing?
Yeah, I think I still find it where I'm talking to a player or I'm talking to a coach where players are around and you see them going out on the football pitch and you're the one dragging the equipment or setting up the equipment and you're like, just want to put my boots on and get involved again. But I mean, there's a reason as to why I didn't become a professional footballer, and that was because I wasn't good enough. But also I'm proud of what I've achieved.
Breaking news, and England are under-17s world champions. They produce a remarkable comeback to beat Spain in the final in India.
Success at a global level for an England team. Big news. There was a buzz around those young players, and some have gone on to big things. But of the starting 11, only 1 player has made under 20 professional appearances, the goalkeeper, Curtis Anderson. It's all very different now compared with 2012, when Manchester City paid Blackpool £15,000 to sign him.
You're 11 years old and there's a proper transfer fee being paid for you. What's that like?
I wasn't aware of it. I didn't arrive at City thinking, well, I've had a fee paid for me. I just remember getting there thinking this is a level up.
At what point did you think, I've made it?
I don't think I ever thought that.
Really?
No. When I got to about 16, 17, I was playing for England, I got my scholarship, I got my pro. I think I started to realise that I've got a chance. I don't think I ever thought I've actually made it. We knew we were in a good spot, but at the same time, we also knew that, like, every year, when we were getting closer to under 16s, a bunch of our mates would be released at 16.
And look, I won't ask you figures, but are we talking big money here?
For a 17-year-old, yeah. In the grand scheme of football, maybe not, but when you've gone from earning a scholar wage to earning professional money at Man City level professional money, then yeah, it's a lot of money.
Did it change you or your outlook or your belief when you won that World Cup?
Well, I remember someone saying to me, like, you're a World Cup winner now. And I was like, that's cool. But our goalkeeper coach is Spanish, and I remember him saying to me, he's like, brilliant, like, you've done amazing. But our Spanish youth teams have won the World Cup for years, or they've won the Euros for years, and I took it as he meant it. He meant it in a positive way, that don't let it get to your head too much. It also then did bring me back down to, right, well, me worrying about getting that new contract, winning the World Cup's not going to help that, which I thought it probably would have, but it turned out it didn't.
After Manchester City, Anderson played third-tier football in the USA. 0 appearances at Wycombe, including 2 non-league loan spells. Then came the drop. Lancaster City, Bootle, and an appearance for Kendal Town in the 9th tier of English football. But Anderson is now at the top of the game again, in a different capacity. He's a financial advisor for young footballers in the Premier League and EFL, sharing some of the lessons he's learned in the game.
The difference between saving and investing, with an ISA you can put £20,000 in a year and that money grows tax-free. Even if I'd have just left like 5 grand of that 30 that I spoke about, who knows what that'd be worth today?
Was it difficult to let that dream go?
Don't get me wrong, there was times when the World Cup was on and I remember just like going to bed and I'd struggle to sleep because I'm like, how has this happened?
Don't let stoppage time goals ruin your bet. If you're winning at 90 minutes, we pay out. Betfair. Play different.
I seen like teammates I won the World Cup with playing in the actual first team men's World Cup. It wasn't necessarily I was sat there thinking, oh, I should have been playing in that. It was more, how am I not even getting a game for Lancaster?
Years earlier, but
My enjoyment of what I do now overrides my enjoyment when I played. I'm getting a lot of fulfillment out of looking after people, taking the stress away from them because they don't have to worry about the finances.
And then with the extra money, opening investment accounts.
Your own experiences must help you an awful lot in the particular niche of financial advice you've gone into.
I think that's where my selling point is, to be honest, and why I'm trusted by a lot of players, is because I can relate to you. I always say to the lads all the time, I'll come to you with the ideas. At the end of the day, it's your money. Like, I'm here to help. Someone came to see me when I was 18. I'm sure what he was telling me was perfect, but I didn't relate with it. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you because I'm trying to be the guy I needed when I was 18.
There are so many young players like Curtis who are using their experiences from the academy system to help them in a more general field of work.
My name's George Barnby. I was a football player for Scunthorpe United for 2 years as a youth team apprentice. I now work for City Healthcare Partnership as an apprentice nurse.
My name's Emmanuel Falabi. I played for Charlton Athletic Academy for 9 seasons. I currently work for a company called Rambo. My job involves designing highway pavement designs, logo and drainage systems for various types of developments.
Hi there, my name's Jack McMillan and I was a professional footballer for Notts County Football Club, and I'm an advanced breathwork and yoga instructor for professional athletes, which include GB, and mostly for professional footballers.
My name is Seiko Kadam, and I used to play for Walsall FC from the age of 11 all the way through to age 18. I'm now a dental student in King's College London in my second year.
My name is Drew Ricketts. I previously played football for Oxford United, Mansfield Town and Tamworth Football Club. I now spend my work life part of West Midlands Fire Service.
We've found that people are going on and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things. We have apprentices go to university and study a right variety of courses. Not everybody will necessarily fall into a career as such, but it's for us to help them find contentment in whatever's next for them. We've got the programmes, we've got the education, the support, the strategy. The barrier is actually trying to help a young aspiring footballer get out of their heads of being a footballer. Can we get people to see there's more to life outside of football?
The Premier League also launched their Futures programme, aiming to support players with their next chapter.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the National Football Museum for tonight's Future Celebration event.
Everything you learn from football, take those skills and apply it somewhere else. I was lucky enough to find DJ as a passion.
Growth mindset, and that's a key thing that I've learned from the Premier League programme. Soft skills, hard skills, your hard work, bounce back ability, resilience, communication skills. Your teamwork from being in an environment can put you in such good stead.
Nowadays, clubs aren't only looking to protect young players after they've finished playing. Well-being and holistic care is at the forefront of so many academy programmes. Is it the toughest time for you personally, when you've actually got to sit down with parents and kids and deliver bad news?
I think it is, because you build up a huge relationship with the players, with the families. You get very, very close to them, and ultimately we want everybody to succeed. But you work really hard that whatever the decision is, to support them in the best way, in what support that they need at that moment in time.
It's absolutely not the end. There are so many different opportunities available. We like to think that the experience they get within the academy is really life-enriching. We do a lot of work to really try and normalise the journey for them a little bit, right from the start, from an early age. There are going to be loads of ups and downs throughout the academy life. There are plenty of examples as well within the Premier League at the moment from successful players that have been released multiple times from academies, had to go through that heartache, I suppose, of getting released at that time, to then build that resilience and go through adversity to then get another opportunity at another club.
We have the opportunity to shape lives of young, aspiring footballers. It's all-encompassing around working with players, with staff, with parents to give them some experiences that potentially they would never have got before. One that sticks in my mind a lot was, when we took a team away on tour, and that was at the Giants Causeway in Northern Ireland. A boy came from a very difficult environment, and he ended up standing by the sea. And when I got to him, I said, are you okay? Is everything all right? And he said, I've never seen the sea. It was a real light bulb moment. We were impacting young people's lives.
It's interesting what Chris mentions there, because life skills and character development play a huge part in EPPP thinking. Teenagers learn about other cultures and they can travel. There are tournaments in India and China, for example. while the Truce tournament teaches academy players about the First World War. And across the divisions, young players receive life skills presentations and training.
Life skills has always existed in a certain way, but it's become very much the forefront, really, of player care now, where we're trying to develop a young person to be as rounded as possible.
Definitely looking back on it, it's a good thing that the players have to participate in. Probably at the time I didn't realise how it can sort of help you, both on and off the pitch. But that's probably the naivety of teenagers who just want to play football.
The programme's strategy has 3 key outcomes to support performance, well-being and transition. Feeling comfortable in all states, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, even socially. And it's the ability to deal with change that we're striving to support young people with.
100% of clubs will receive LFE's programmes resources support. In addition to that, they've got their own player care programme, and we provide well in excess of 1,000 workshops a season, and we've reached in excess of 34,000 participants, and that is players under 9 to under 21, staff, parents, carers, host family. There's a lot of people in, say, 9 or 10 months of the year.
Get £50 in free bets when you sign up online to Betfred and stake £10. Love football, Betfred.
Tony Adams is our founder. The reason why Tony kind of set up Sporting Chance was that he suffered with addiction, and he found that more footballers and sports people were coming to him and saying, you know what, Tony, I've been struggling as well. It's kind of talking about mental health and their lifestyle and the effect that the two can kind of have on each other. We like to try and give them a little bit of an interactive session which gets them involved and makes them realise they're in a very difficult profession which can really affect mental health. I know that myself from the journey I went through in my career. When I was flying, from a picture perspective, life was fantastic, but in truth I was down here because I had things going on in the background, I had things going on from a personal perspective. There's just so many different aspects that can affect somebody's mental health, and especially in a football environment where it's so high pressure. And that's why I find it so important now to be able to kind of give back to the younger footballers, give them kind of messages that I would have wanted to hear at their age.
To make your French toast, I'm just going to demonstrate. It's so simple. Great pre-match. Right, lads, thanks for your patience. I just want to come here to try and make a difference to your overall performance and health and give you a little bit of an insight and a story into my journey as a professional athlete. On the Life Skills programme, I went round to about 45, 50 clubs last season. If athletes are sticking to whole foods, fueling the body properly, then they're going to get a positive impact with the performance, the health and recovery as well. Back in my day, I never got access to this information at all. When I tell my story on how I rose from, you know, the conference to the Premier League, I think it sort of hits home because I was sat in their shoes once. My Friday night was a really heavy pasta bake full of cheese. The reality is you need to include a lot of colour into your diet. Give it a whisk. So, lads, it's as simple as that. It'll take you a couple of minutes in the morning.
It's my why when I get a message from the lads who have been involved in the session saying, oh, you've really helped me. And I've had a lot of parents reach out to me saying, my kid hasn't touched a McDonald's in 6 months.
Well, that looks good to me. That's a nice one.
And if you make a difference in, you know, 1 or 2 people's lives in that room, then it's definitely worth it.
Looks good, that one. Looks really good.
It's not just life skills that the football authorities provide to youngsters. Youth development rules mean players have sessions on mental and emotional well-being support. Academies also have their own action plans. The Premier League run player care and transition working groups with clubs and other football organisations to share knowledge. And they work with the charities NSPCC and Sporting Chance to offer additional expertise. The PFA come in here too, using Premier League funding to provide an independent youth advisory service and a player helpline that offers confidential support.
Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news, and it's rather shocking. Marcus Rashford and Garnacho, the truth as to why they were left out of so many games for Manchester United. And I think that is really, really exciting to see how Amorim, and some would say exciting is a little bit unfair, but I think that actually, I think it is exciting because I think Manchester United need this this type of behaviour from their manager. They need this sort of forthrightness, confidence, and the fact that it's in the Athletic, and I'm just getting it up now, that's what she said, I think it's just really encouraging that we have a scenario going on where, let me just get that there. Okay, where a manager is just allowing it to be put out. I mean, effectively, it's a power play. And what we're talking about here is Rashford going out before games. Now, he's strenuously denying this, and it even says it in The Athletic. But in this article that's come out today from The Athletic, it basically lays bare the issues with Rashford, the truth. And what comes out from that, and we'll go through it all, is that Amorim thinks he's been out twice in the last few weeks, 48 hours before games. And what isn't in dispute is that his training performances are shocking, with some of them being described as tired. So something's going wrong there, isn't it? And look, Marcus Rashford and his camp can deny that he went out, but the bottom line is the club are clearly looking for reasons as to why you're underperforming in training compared to everybody else. They've got the data. Maybe he didn't go out. Maybe he did go out. There's loads of rumours of Rashford being out. I'm sure there's a million people out, maybe not a million. There's a lot of people who can either confirm the rumour or not. But the point is, Amorim is factually saying that his performances in training are weird and something's clearly going on. So, look, it is shocking. It's definitely a power play. There's stuff coming out from Garnacho as well. What I'd also say is, in relation to the Liverpool game tomorrow, I'd prepare yourself for that game to be off. I'd say 50-50, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. I'd say because of the weather that's being reported in the UK tonight, I'd say 50-50 chance that game will get called off. It's not called off yet, but I'd say 50-50 at the moment. Hopefully it will happen, but yeah, just the way things are in the UK these days. Obviously, Liverpool and Everton got called off because it was windy. I think there's going to be a lot of snow, a lot of ice. So just prepare yourself for it might be called off tomorrow. But look, let's hit this story. It's in The Athletic. I'm going to read some of it out to you, and you can make your own minds up. It's entitled "What's Going On with Marcus Rashford?" And effectively, United had just beaten Everton 4-0 with Rashford scoring 2 goals. But after the game, Amorim heard the forward had been out in Manchester on the Friday night. So he'd been out on the Friday night. Man United played on the Sunday, less than 48 hours before that game. The United head coach does not want his players in bars so close to games and asked Rashford about his movements. The England international assured Amorim he had been misinformed about the late night out. Since then, Rashford's only started 1 game. Is factually saying that his performances in training are weird and something's clearly going on. So, look, it is shocking. It's definitely a power play. There's stuff coming out from Garnacho as well. What I'd also say is, in relation to the Liverpool game tomorrow, I'd prepare yourself for that game to be off. I'd say 50-50, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. I'd say because of the weather that's being reported in the UK tonight, I'd say 50-50 chance that game will get called off. It's not called off yet. But I'd say 50-50 at the moment. Hopefully it will happen, but yeah, just the way things are in the UK these days. Obviously, Liverpool and Everton got called off because it was windy. I think there's going to be a lot of snow, a lot of ice. So just prepare yourself for it might be called off tomorrow. But look, let's hit this story. It's in The Athletic. I'm going to read some of it out to you, and you can make your own minds up. It's entitled "What's Going On with Marcus Rashford?" And effectively, United had just beaten Everton 4-0 with Rashford scoring 2 goals. But after the game, Amorim heard the forward had been out in Manchester on the Friday night. So he'd been out on the Friday night. Man United played on the Sunday, less than 48 hours before that game. The United head coach does not want his players in bars so close to games and asked Rashford about his movements. The England international assured Amorim he had been misinformed about the late night out. Since then, Rashford's only started 1 game, which was Victoria Pleasant. he has obviously been under a lot of scrutiny ever since then. There is also talk that before the Manchester City game, he had been out as well, and that was something that Rashford again denied. The Athletic has spoken to multiple sources with knowledge of Rashford's situation, who did anonymously because they wanted to protect their relationships with Rashford, but they understood how a player with such a goal-scoring record being left out and describe it as complicated. 2 days later, on Saturday, December the 14th, in a final training session before Manchester United played Man City, Rashford put in a lacklustre performance at United's Carrington base, according to multiple sources, some of whom said he appeared to be fatigued. Claims circulated that Rashford had gone out the night before, with accounts reaching people at United. This, again, was strenuously denied by people close to the player. And Rashford is also known to feel he does not behave differently from other Premier League footballers, but faces much more scrutiny over his social life. I mean, look, there's a few more bits to pick up on there, but I think primarily we're reacting here to a news article from The Athletic talking about issues with Marcus Rashford. This, again, is a decent outlet when it comes to they wouldn't normally go in on Rashford. We had Andy Mitten last weekend, who wouldn't normally go in on Rashford, basically saying that Rashford's been an issue for years. We've now got The Athletic, who wouldn't normally go in on Rashford, saying that, you know, he's rumoured to have gone out twice before the Everton game and the Man City game, which Rashford has denied. But he has been in training, and multiple people have said he's been in training looking tired. I mean, tired, fatigued, hungover. Well, you know, what does that even mean? So I think that what you've got here is a player that for years, according to the Andy Mitten story, has been an issue, and a player that now, according to Athletic, is a player that turns up to training quite regularly, looking tired, and is rumoured to be going out 48 hours before games more than once. The rumour mill is a dangerous mill, and you know you need to wear protective clothing because you might get hit by shit that's not true. But the rumour mill around Marcus Rashford is incredible. I mean, Phil Cartwright says he denied Belfast as well. We're still waiting for that apology, aren't we, on Belfast, by the way, which we'll never get. But there is an incredible rumour mill around Rashford, and I do sympathise with him to a certain extent because other Premier League footballers probably do go out. There's rumours around Kyle Walker and people like that. But the bottom line is, I can't stand other people do this. I'd expect that from one of my kids. Oh, you know, what you're telling me off for? Seb did that yesterday. Yeah, I'm talking about you now and what you've done wrong. Stop looking to shift the blame to other people. You know, other players go out. Do they? Did you go out? Yes, but other people do. Shut up, not interested in other people. You're playing shit. You're the best paid player at the club. We're 14th in the league, and you're going out. I couldn't give a shit. I'll deal with the other players. I'm talking to you. Stop shifting the blame, because I think that is something that resonates quite frustratingly with a lot of fans, is that we're always looking to shift the blame. Other players do this, that and the other. I think the bottom line here is, and you know, we can speculate, we can confirm, we can argue, we can cast judgments, of course we can, but what is very clear from the words that Ruben Amorim has put out is that Manchester United and Marcus Rashford have had problems for many years. And this is why his consistency is so bad. Amorim has come in with a different approach. If you think about Ten Hag after Belfast, Rashford was starting and scoring for Man United less than a week after going out on the piss the night before training in a different country. I think Amorim has looked at this with Ineos and said, we need a different approach. He's never been held accountable before. He's never been left out of the team for a long period before.
Start your travel adventures with Kentucky Group Travel for 18 to 35-year-olds. Every trip includes the coolest accommodation, once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and new friends. What's not to love? Pick from wildlife tours, island hopping, and more. Secure your spot with a £60 deposit, and you can pay over time, interest-free. Visit Kentucky.com. T's and C's apply.
How has he responded to that? Well, he's responded to that by continuing to not perform in training. I think it's very obvious with Rashford. There's some big story about a private life issue. very obvious, very, very obvious. Whether that excuses it, makes a reason for it, I don't know. It's interesting because the Athletic article actually goes on to talk about, other managers